G. Ramesh. So he is the Vice President and Legal Advisor at the Maharashtra Society Welfare Association. He leads the legal team of the 1 Point Legal Solutions. His expertise includes the civil litigations, RERA arbitrations, consumer complaints, redevelopment, cooperative compliances, education and training on the related matters. So, and he is the frequent speaker at the various forums, and he's having the vast experience of almost 2 decades. So I think with this brief introduction, sir, please you can start your presentation.
Full screen. Full screen position.
This.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. And thank you very much for having me here today. I will start with, first of all, thanking the CP Circle, JB Nagar, as well as the office bearers for giving me this opportunity. And probably you would be, I wish you bear with me for the next 1.5 2 hours. The only good aspect here is, before I start, Naresh had given the earlier session, which probably is the session after lunch. So we tend to fall asleep during that period after lunch. So I think I am lucky that I am occupying after 5:15. So शायद थोड़ा सा चाय पिया है तो और थोड़ा सा good. After the first session, which probably you would have understood what Mr. Naresh was explaining about the stamp duty and the conveyance aspects of any land or any document, any flat, house, industrial estate, whatever it may be, any instrument for that matter. Now, whatever we are going to now discuss in this session is something which is going to happen after that. आपका land का conveyance हो गया, आपने property खरीदा, उसका registration, stamp duty registration हो गया. You are staying in a particular house. You have been staying, living there for a few number of years, probably 20, 25, 30, 35 years. Now you feel that बहुत सारा time हो गया है. Now that ये घर में थोड़ा सा बदलाव चाहिए. We cannot stay here for another 10, 15 years, probably for whatever reasons. It may be because of the fact that the building has lost its beauty, or you may call there are some structural defects which have happened here, and so on and so forth. One more very important aspect of why many housing societies will be more confining ourselves to housing societies, because ये redevelopment or self redevelopment जो भी topic है, ये predominantly it is happening in housing societies. I do not know how much relevant this would be for professionals like you. I really do not know, but there may be somebody who may be practicing in this area also. I do not know.
As a member, yes, and as a professional also, yes.
Yes. So if not as a professional, at least most of us here belong to some cooperative housing society. So at least in that manner, I think, I believe that कहीं ना कहीं यहाँ ये काम में आ सकता है. Now coming back to the point of redevelopment, slides तो है, you may see 143 slides शायद आपको दिखता होगा, but I'm a person who generally do not go by the slide, but I'll try to run through it because आपको समझने में थोड़ा आसानी होगा. I almost rather prefer to extempore try करता हूँ मैं. I've been trying for so many years. I do not know the success rate, but let's see. So now redevelopment is such a topic or subject rather, which has its own pros and cons. Now, if you start the first stage or the first initiation level of any redevelopment project or any redevelopment activity in your housing society, there are two sets of members who will come across, who will stand in front of you, or rather in front of the committee or the general body. एक तरीके के लोग बोलेंगे, अरे यार इधर तो हम 40 साल से रह रहे हैं और 20 साल ही मुझे रहना है, क्यों करना है रीडेवलप? मैं यहीं पे पैदा हुआ हूं, यहीं पे मरूंगा. Sentimental, some kind of statements would come across, and predominantly from the people who are on the other side of their prime. And the other set of people would say, अरे अभी यार सामने वाला बन गया, साइड वाला बन गया, मेरा दोस्त का बन गया, मेरे ऑफिस में 4 लोगों का टावर में आ गए उन लोग, हम लोग क्यों वहीं पे रह रहे हैं? 20-25 साल से we have been climbing these 3-4 steps stairs. मेरे डैड को चलने को नहीं हो रहा है, मेरा मॉम के पास वॉकिंग के लिए जगह नहीं है, so on and so forth. मेरा बच्चे स्विमिंग पूल चाहते हैं, so क्यों नहीं? Why shouldn't we go for redevelopment? And there are some third category of people. These two are predominantly visible. So the third will never be visible. The third category, they are always working behind the scene. Always working behind the scene. वो बोलेंगे कि करने दो, उनको देखते हैं बाद में. इस तरफ भी जाएंगे तो भी हटाना है, उस तरफ जाएंगे तो भी हटाना है. मतलब मेरा काम सोसाइटी में यही है कि हर चीज में मुझे. So let me be peacefully exist here. जब भी टाइम आएगा, then I will show my true colors. Now, being a professional here, हमको देखना है कि how to satisfy all these three. Somehow we have to have a bridge between all these three categories, जहां पे सांप भी मरे, लाठी भी नहीं छूटे. Something of that sort. Whether that is possible? Yes, it is possible. Whether it is easy? The answer is no. It is not at all easy. It's very difficult, but it is not impossible. That is the reason. अगर आप देखोगे जितने भी redevelopment के projects है, I do not know if you see, even if you take this particular अंधेरी area, east ले लीजिए और west ले लीजिए, if you go around एक 2 किलोमीटर के radius पे आप जाओगे, there may be some at least 100 to 150 stalled projects. जो redevelopment में शुरू हुआ है, लोग वेकेट करके चले गए, बिल्डिंग डिमोलिश हो गया है, बट नथिंग हैज कम अप. इट्स स्टिल देयर एट द प्लिंथ लेवल और फाउंडेशन लेवल, और 2 माला बना के छोड़ दिया है, प्लास्टरिंग दिख रहा है, सड़ रहा है. नो, दिस इज अ थ्रेट. सो व्हाट शुड बी द आइडियल वे, और व्हाट शुड बी द अप्रोच wherein we try to achieve our end result? रिडेवलपमेंट करते करते हमको हमारा जितना हर्डल्स है, जितना रोड ब्लॉक्स है, उसको मिनिमाइज कैसा करना है एंड अचीव द एंड रिजल्ट. सो दैट इज द रीजन व्हाई द न्यू कॉन्सेप्ट व्हिच वाज देयर अर्लियर अबाउट 40-50 years back, which has again started to gather pace, and that is called as self redevelopment. So फर्क कुछ नहीं है. I'm just beginning with saying that redevelopment or self-redevelopment, there is no difference at all. The only thing, the only difference rather, is that in case of redevelopment, we have a developer or a builder or a promoter who is going to develop your property through an agreement, through a contract, which is the development agreement. And in case of self-redevelopment, you are going to redevelop your property yourself by appointing a third person, like a contractor or any other professional, and without actually transferring any of your rights to the other person. यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम आप देखोगे कि यहाँ पे स्टॉल्ड क्यों है प्रोजेक्ट्स. प्रोजेक्ट स्टॉल्ड इसके लिए है क्योंकि once you enter into any kind of a agreement, registered agreement or a contract with any other person, granting him any type of right, any kind of right, then you cannot withdraw that right at your own whims and fancies. there has to be a legal procedure or a legal process to be followed so that you withdraw that particular right which you are given, and that right can be withdrawn only through the court of law. अगर आप डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट रजिस्टर करते हो किसी के साथ में, कोई बिल्डर को अपॉइंट करते हो, योर जनरल बॉडी हैज फाइनलाइज्ड एवरीथिंग, टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस आर ऑन प्लेस, and you have appointed that person and you have entered into a registered development agreement. So to terminate that registered agreement, it's not easy. It's a very lengthy procedure. उसमें कोई agreement में arbitration clause होगा, कोई agreement में arbitration clause नहीं होगा, किसी में कुछ और clause डाला होगा, किसी में civil code का mention किया होगा. So it's a very lengthy process. And as Mr. Naresh was mentioning, डीन अगर कन्वेंस के लिए अगर आपको 6-7 साल या 10 साल लग सकता है, विच इज आवर राइट. कन्वेंस तो हमारा राइट है, 4 महीने में आपको मिलना है सोसाइटी बनने के बाद में, जो एक्ट में लिखा गया है. बट डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट टर्मिनेट करने का किधर भी लिखा नहीं है. देयर इज नो एक्ट विच सेज डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट को 6 महीने के अंदर आप टर्मिनेट कर सकते हो. सो इट हैज टू बी थ्रू अ प्रोसेस. सो दैट प्रोसेस विल टेक मच लॉन्गर टाइम. सो नाउ वी हैव टू थिंक twice before choosing which of the two categories of development is best suitor for the society, which category the society can afford, because self redevelopment mein you have the society becomes a developer. The society is going to get into the shoes of a builder and then develop the property. Professionals rahenge sath mein, but ultimately the onus is on the society and its members and the managing committee. So this risk is there कि हम लोग परफॉर्म कर पाएंगे नहीं कर पाएंगे. वहां पे तो बिल्डर के ऊपर छोड़ दिया, कर दिया उसने, जो भी करेगा वो तो हमने तो जनरल बॉडी का रेजोल्यूशन से दिया था, अभी वो परफॉर्म नहीं कर पाए तो हम क्या करें. इट्स इजी वे आउट. बट सेल्फ रिडेवलपमेंट में देयर इज नो वे आउट. यू हैव टू गिव आंसर टू योरसेल्फ. यू कैन नॉट पुट द ब्लेम ऑन समवन एल्स. सो ये फैक्टर्स को इनकॉर्पोरेट करने के बाद में वी हैव टू टेक अ वेरी informed decision which one of these two routes are to be adopted. Coming back, we will first discuss about redevelopment and the procedures followed for redevelopment through a developer, and then we'll touch upon the self redevelopment aspect. Abhi I personally prefer that it should be an interactive session. I am not a teacher, not a lecturer, so please don't treat me like that. And आप मुझे कभी भी बीच में रुकाइए, and I would love to not answer your question because I have to again go back and see whether what is the answer for your question. So at least 3 questions ऐसा पूछिए मुझे जो मुझे आंसर नहीं आना चाहिए. I will tell you sorry, मैं आपको 2 हफ्ते के बाद आंसर देता हूँ उसका, 1 हफ्ते के बाद देता हूँ. So let us take this. I will take this as a challenge. You may also take it as a challenge, and please have it interactive. इसके लिए मैं स्लाइड्स नहीं चलाता. स्लाइड्स चलाने से मेरा भी फोकस इसमें है, आपका भी फोकस स्क्रीन में है. We are not having a eye to eye contact, so I prefer not to. But अभी क्या है कि आ गया है, सर ने मुझे बोला नहीं पीपीटी भेजना ही है आपको. 3 दिन से मुझे बोला नहीं पीपीटी आना है, पीपीटी आना है. तो मैंने ठीक है पीपीटी ले लीजिए. तो पीपीटी है तो चलाएंगे उसको, बट लेट अस कीप इट इंटरेक्टिव प्लीज. Is it visible?
Yes.
Now, as I told you, reasons for redevelopment, if you see age, condition of the building, deterioration, all these things. देखिए गंदा है बिल्डिंग, वॉल्स का लीकेज है, वाटर टैंक काम नहीं कर रहा है, बिल्डिंग का स्ट्रक्चर इज dilapidated. All these things lead to redevelopment. At the end of the day ये सब करने के लिए खर्चा है, तो सोसाइटी may or may not be able to afford such an expenditure, may not be having funds to dedicatedly spend towards such a repair. So the only option left with the society is to go for redevelopment. Now there are some, if you see here, to this, see this slide, These are some of the challenges which you may face while the society goes in for redevelopment. यहाँ पे सर मेरे को 2 स्लाइड्स दिख रहा है, तो वहां पे कौन सा स्लाइड दिख रहा है आपको सर? यू मस्ट बी कॉशियस वाला दिख रहा है सर। सर आप प्लीज प्लीज सिट डाउन, मैं वही मुझे स्लाइड। These are the some problems which normally the society faces. They do not know what to do. देखिए as a normal common man rather in a living in a society, we may not probably understand the jargons. ये क्या बड़े बड़े बातें कर रहा है, FSI क्या बोल रहा है, TDR क्या है, मुझे बोल रहे कि रोड का कुछ इतना होना चाहिए तभी हमारा बनेगा बिल्डिंग, नहीं तो हमारा 10 माले के ऊपर नहीं बनेगा। कोई सेंटा क्रूज विलीपार्ले में बोल रहे हैं कि एयरपोर्ट वगैरह सामने है, चेंबूर में बोलते हैं, घाटकोपर में बोलते हैं कि कोई हमारा रनवे का ऊपर आता है। So all these things funnel में आ रहा है, all these things many of us do not understand. But one thing every person understands is मेरा अगर रीडेवलपमेंट में जाना है तो मेरे को कम से कम 40% चाहिए। मेरे को मेरा घर 40% चाहिए, मेरे को कुछ नहीं मालूम और कुछ नहीं मालूम, आप किसको भी दे दो मेरे को 40% नहीं मिलेगा ना, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू साइन। वो 40% क्या है वो भी नहीं पता उसको। 40% उसको बाथरूम बड़ा करके देना है, घर देना है, बालकनी बढ़ाना है, उसको नहीं पता। पता नहीं लोग बोलता है 40% तो मिलेगा क्योंकि 35% फंजिबल FSI है, वो फंजिबल तो मेरे को फ्री में मिलना है, बाद में 5% बढ़ा के देना हो तो बिल्डर देगा उसके पैसे से। तो 40% के नीचे आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू अग्री। He does not know what is the potential. He does not know how much FSI that particular plot is carrying. He does not know whether the society has already consumed more than 1 FSI, which is supposed to be the maximum FSI which can be consumed as of today. अगर 3 FSI मिलता है कोई सोसाइटी को और ऑलरेडी आपने 1.5 FSI कंज्यूम कर लिया है, तो you will not get the additional 2. You will only get 1.5. वो सब नहीं पता। So this is what it is written. Innocent is not the only meaning. मतलब innocent मतलब बेचारा नहीं है meaning. Innocent मतलब ignorance. Innocent मतलब lack of knowledge. Innocent मतलब knowing something and pretending as if I do not know. Everything falls under innocence. And lack of cooperation इसकी वजह से, lack of cooperation, plan नहीं कर पाता इसकी वजह से, people do not come forward. They feel that मेरा अगर कैलकुलेशन सही है तो मेरा वकील तो बोलता है कि नहीं नहीं तुमको इतना मिलना चाहिए, नहीं तो आप कोर्ट में केस डाल दो, लड़ेंगे हम लोग। आपको बिल्डिंग नहीं बनाना है ना, आप जनरल बॉडी रेजोल्यूशन को चैलेंज करो, वो कोऑपरेटिव कोर्ट में 6 साल लगेगा, तब तक फिर सोचेंगे क्या करना है, उसको आने दो ना, तब तक स्टे ले लेंगे। तो ऑल दीज थिंग्स मिस इन्फॉर्म्ड, पेनी वाइज पाउंड फुलिश, वही मैंने जो बताया कि वो बिल्डर आया था, 3 हमारे पास कोटेशंस आए थे, एक ने 25 दिया, एक ने 30 दिया, तीसरा ने 50 दिया। तो मैं देखूंगा नहीं तीसरा वाला कौन है, 50 दिया ना उसी को देना। अभी वो 50 वाला डेवलपर है या गार्डनर है मुझे नहीं मालूम, बट उसको ही देना क्योंकि वो 50 दे रहा है मुझे। आई एम नॉट इवन गोइंग टू टच दिस 30% गाय, बिकॉज मेरे को ज्यादा एरिया चाहिए। बिल्डिंग टूटेगा, उसके पास कोई एक्सपर्टीज है, फाइनेंशियल कैपेबिलिटीज है, टीम है, प्रोफेशनल्स है, आई डू नॉट नो, ही इज गिविंग 50, आई विल टेक दैट ऑफर। सो ऑल दीज चैलेंजेस आर देयर एंड दैट्स व्हाई यू नीड टू बी विजिलेंट टू अवॉइड बीइंग टेकन फॉर अ राइड। सो ये जो लिखा है यहाँ पे, ये बहुत सारे रीडेवलपमेंट्स को लेके अगर मुंबई जैसा शहर में देखोगे जहां पे लैंड पार्सल्स आर नॉट अवेलेबल एंड open areas are not there and redevelopment is the only option in most of the places in the city. तो यहाँ पे ऐसे वाले जगह पे और वहां पे अगर लैंड का अगर आप देखोगे कॉस्ट which is कभी कभी मुंबई का पूरा शहर का लैंड का अगर कॉस्ट लोगे तो एक बड़ा कंट्री का कॉस्ट भी उतना नहीं रहेगा। तो ये सब has now what has happened due to this is people have become more greedy. People have now started imagining things which are not possible. लोग सोचते हैं नहीं नहीं मेरा तो इतना बनेगा ही बनेगा, हम लोग इतना जल्दी क्यों करना है, we'll wait more. we'll wait more, and then ultimately the society or the building may crack, it may fall down, it may have some structural defects, and बहुत सारा buildings जो गिर गए हैं वैसा गिर जाएगा. then what happens? मिस्टर नरेश का टॉपिक के हिसाब से अगर कन्वेंस आपके पास नहीं है या कोई कारणवश कोई टाइटल डॉक्यूमेंट डेफिशिएंट है आपके पास, then you lose not only your flat, sorry, not only your plot but also your flat. आपका बना हुआ कन्वेंस नहीं है आपके प्रॉपर्टी के ऊपर, आपका लैंड खुद का नहीं है, बिल्डिंग गिर गया या बीएमसी ने कह दिया कि आपका C1 कैटेगरी है, तोड़ना पड़ेगा, डेंजरस फॉर लिविंग है, then you fail. So now what I am trying to make you understand is that एक तरफ से मैं बोल रहा हूं कि आप जाइए और दूसरी तरफ से बोल रहा हूं कि आपको जाना है नहीं जाना है सोचिए. This is actually the situation which is happening. मतलब we are perplexed. हम लोग को actually पता नहीं है आज के दिन में कि we have to actually have both the ends going. हमको करना भी है, सही तरीके से भी करना है, जल्दी भी करना है, सब कुछ विन विन सिचुएशन में होना चाहिए. Everybody has to be a winner here. So that's the reason why redevelopment, while choosing the particular decision, while arriving at this particular decision, you may have to be very careful, appoint as many as number of professionals possible. PMC का जो appointment का will also run through the 79A का एक procedure है government का, though it is not mandatory, but it is always better that we follow that 79A principles. So that is the reason why this particular procedures have been laid down, ताकि क्या होता है कि you are not taken for a ride and the ultimately you achieve your whatever goal at the earliest. ये word of caution which is given here, no laid down guidelines. As I told you, 79A है, those are first of all guidelines. Even the Supreme Court of India has held that it is not a mandatory procedure to be followed. अगर नहीं भी follow करते हो तो no court can come and question you, because there is a standing order. Judgment है Supreme Court.
Transparency is maintained.
Yeah. So why this has to be done is because of the fact that each member of the society is informed about whatever is happening. Each decision is taken by calling for a general body meeting. Each and every development which is happening in the society is made known to the members of the society by maintaining transparency. तो हम लोग ये कहते हैं कि if you follow the procedures laid down under 79A, you will succeed rather than failing. More often than not, you will succeed. फेलियर रेट कम है. जो सोसाइटीज ने 79A फॉलो किया है वहां पे वी हैव सीन 80 to 85% सोसाइटीज हैव सक्सीडेड इन अकम्प्लिशिंग रीडेवलपमेंट. और जहां पे लोग लापरवाही में किए हैं, हमको कुछ नहीं चाहिए, हम एक तरफा करेंगे, हम लोग देखते हैं आगे आके क्या होता है, कभी देख लेंगे, कभी आएगा तो हम लोग करेंगे, कोर्ट है हमारे साथ, डिसीजन है, जजमेंट्स है टू सपोर्ट, सो वी विल मूव अहेड. वैसा किसी ने किया है, they have not taken any of the precautions and many of them have failed. So 79A procedures, दो हमारे पास guidelines पहले नहीं थे, 2009 में एक guidelines आया, 2019 में revised guidelines आया है, तो it is better that the societies adopt those guidelines. और इसकी वजह से कोई भी चीज black and white में नहीं होने की वजह से the builders took advantage of the situation कि यहाँ पे मैं लालच दे सकता हूँ, ये प्रोजेक्ट मेरे किट्टी में ले सकता हूं, मैं कुछ भी ऑफर दे सकता हूं, लोग ललचा जाएंगे, मेरे पास साइन कर लेंगे, एक बार डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट साइन हो गया तो आई एम द किंग, आई विल स्टे देयर फॉरएवर. मुझे आई विल डिसाइड व्हेन टू रीडेवलप, द मेंबर्स वोंट डिसाइड, द बिल्डर विल डिसाइड व्हेन टू रीडेवलप द सोसाइटी. सो दैट्स द रीजन आज के दिन में भी इवन टुडे देयर आर नो सेट गाइडलाइंस. और नहीं, रेरा इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल. RERA is not applicable because of the fact that RERA is only applicable for new purchasers. Now we will also discuss about RERA aspect, थोड़ा सा हम वो भी टच करेंगे. But RERA was introduced only for the transactions, money transactions happening between the home buyer and the builder, only for those particular consumers, for those home buyers, not for the existing society members. Society members have to go through a civil litigation only. There is no other option. इधर आप मोफा के थ्रू अगर जाना चाहते हो, क्रिमिनल जो बताया था मिस्टर नरेश ने, मोफा में क्रिमिनल प्रोसीडिंग्स है. You can also go through arbitration if that is part of your development agreement. Arbitration is a easier and a quicker kind of dispute resolution. वो हो सकता है, but at the end of the day everything is going to take time. Overnight कुछ होने नहीं वाला है. और एक बार terminate होता भी है कोई developer or a DA gets terminated, then that society somewhere becomes blacklisted. दूसरे builders भी नहीं आते. एक बार अगर सोसाइटी में पता पड़ गया कि इंटरनल डिस्प्यूट्स इतने सारे हैं, अगर एक बिल्डर टर्मिनेट हो सकता है, एक डेवलपर को टर्मिनेट कर सकता है, तो मुझे भी कर सकता है बाद में. तो देन योर व्हाटएवर यू आर बार्गेनिंग, यू विल लूज योर बार्गेनिंग पावर. तो आपका ऑटोमेटिकली इट गेट्स रिड्यूस्ड. सो बहुत सारे चीजें हैं इसमें आइडेंटिफाई करना. देन इफ ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर देयर, if इतने सारे problems है, इतने सारे hurdles है, then why redevelop? At the end of the day इतने सारे negatives हम लोग discuss कर रहे हैं, but फिर भी at the end of the day redevelopment तो चाहिए ना. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग forever वहीं पे रह सकते हैं. So there has to be some reason why we are going for redevelopment.
So when you actually register under RERA, then it's going to say, so you definitely register under RERA.
Correct.
You have to.
Correct.
Then the termination of the developer again is comes under the purview of RERA.
Now this is a very good question actually, and very apt question as well. Now while registering the project, suppose if this obviously अगर builder कोई redevelopment project लेता है, तो you will obviously have some resale component in that particular project. अगर existing members suppose 30 members हैं, and he is going to construct say some 70 flats, 40 flats for resale or sellable units, and 30 are going to be given back to the old members or rehab flats जो बोलते हैं हम लोग. So out of these 40 flats, these 40 people who are going to come and join the society or purchase the flats in this particular building are the actual home buyers, and these home buyers are called as allottees as per the RERA Act. And the developer who is going to construct as per the act, he is called as a promoter. Now there is one common term, builder, developer वगैरह वगैरह हम बोलते थे, अभी उसको एक common term दे दिया, इसका नाम है promoter. और home buyer, home purchaser वगैरह हम बोलते थे, उसका एक common term दे दिया allotee. So allotee and the promoter terms are defined. Now in the act itself, अगर आप allotee का definition देखोगे, तो allotee के definition में उसमें स्पेसिफिकली दिया है कि अलॉटी मतलब उसको ट्रांजैक्शन होना चाहिए, परचेस किया रहना चाहिए. सो इफ द एग्जिस्टिंग मेंबर्स ऑफ द सोसाइटी they are not going to purchase the flats, it's only going to be on a permanent alternate accommodation agreement. आपने शायद you would have heard about the PAAA agreement, जहां पे it is just an alternate accommodation agreement. You already had one flat, in lieu of that flat you have been given an alternate accommodation, so it's not a sale. So that particular agreement, PAAA agreement, though it is an agreement for sale per se, actually आपको वही आपका title document है. That PAAA is going to be a title document because आपका पुराना घर तो टूट गया, आपका पुराना जो agreement आपने register stamp duty किया था वो तो अभी उसका तो कुछ value नहीं है. PAAA is going to be your actual agreement, but that agreement does not fall under the category of an agreement for sale or a deed. Sale deed के category में नहीं आता. So sale deed के category में only those 40 people will come. Now if this project is registered, obviously the developer or the promoter in this case will register this project showing that there are 70 flats in this particular project. Out of these 70 flats, he has to specifically demarcate that out of the 70, 30 are rehab and 40 are for sale. So जो 30 rehab जो mention करेंगे रेरा के वेबसाइट में, if you go through the रेरा वेबसाइट आपको दिखेगा वहां पे 30 flats जो rehab के हैं, those flats cannot approach RERA for any kind of relief. उनका जो डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट के टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस में जो डिस्प्यूट रिड्रेसल है वहीं पे जाना पड़ेगा. These 40 people can come here. सो आपका सवाल जो था कि प्रोजेक्ट तो वही है, रजिस्टर तो रेरा में करेगा, फिर why are these people not included? These people are not included because RERA does not have a provision to include these people. There are two sections in RERA, namely section 8 and section 15, which includes these old members. Two sections which includes, what are these two sections? 8 talks about obligation of the new promoter in case if the old promoter is terminated. अगर आपका डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट सपोज टर्मिनेट हो गया, आपने टर्मिनेट कर दिया, सोसाइटी ने टर्मिनेट कर दिया, एंड दे हैव अपॉइंटेड अ न्यू डेवलपर. द एक्ट सेज that if a new promoter is coming on board, whatever obligations were cast on the old developer, it gets transferred to the new developer. Act बोलता है. कौन सा एक्ट बोलता है? रेरा एक्ट बोलता है. बट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट क्या बोलता है? कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट बोलता है whoever does not have any privity of contract with the other person cannot claim anything from that person. That means, I'll give you an example. बिल्डिंग सोसाइटी का और बिल्डर के बीच में डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट बना. उस डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट के थ्रू बिल्डर ने फ्लैट्स बेचे. फ्लैट बेचते समय दैट डेवलपर हैज एंटर्ड इनटू एन एग्रीमेंट फॉर सेल विद द न्यू फ्लैट परचेसर्स. करेक्ट? So there is a contract between the developer and the new flat purchaser. Is the society involved in that contract? No. Has the society signed on that contract on any kind of, कोई उसका स्टेटस नहीं, लोकस स्टैंडी उस पर्टिकुलर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में सोसाइटी का कोई लोकस स्टैंडी नहीं. So now in that case, if the society terminates the development agreement with the developer or the promoter, due to which the promoter is now not the person who is going to develop that particular project, so what happens to the new purchasers is the question. The contract act says that because you do not have a privity of contract with the society, society का और नया purchaser का कोई privity नहीं है ना, so you go and deal with the developer. Even the High Court has ruled like that. There are a couple of judgments, वेरी फेमस जजमेंट्स. वैदे आकाश का एक जजमेंट है, गोरेगांव पर्ल करके गोरेगांव में एक सोसाइटी है, उसका जजमेंट है. बट व्हाट हैज हैपेंड? दिस इज हैपनिंग सिंस वैदे आकाश केम समवेयर इन 2015 एंड गोरेगांव पर्ल का जजमेंट आया अराउंड 2021. नाउ we are seeing the light of the day. Now the Supreme Court has now realized that ये गड़बड़ है. This is a very big problem.
Step in the shoes of the old one.
Exactly.
And society is nothing but, group of the.
You are the landowner.
Yes.
The society is the landowner. The landowner is now given the rights to develop to the promoter. You are not given any other rights. Your development agreement is not transferring the title. The development agreement is only giving him rights to develop that particular property. So if the development rights are terminated, the landowner right and other rights accrued along with that land will still remain with the society. So how can the society be absolved? It cannot be absolved. So अभी recently दिसंबर में ही आया जजमेंट, गोरेगांव पर्ल का जजमेंट रिवर्स हो गया. बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट हेल्ड दैट नहीं, प्रिविटी ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं है, आप चले जाओ. उसके बाद में बहुत सारे सोसाइटीज, छोटे छोटे रीडेवलपमेंट वाले सब लोग क्या करने लगे, जानबूझ के डेवलपर को टर्मिनेट करने लगे, हैंड इन ग्लोव. बोले आपने 10 फ्लैट बेचा है ना, आप उसको, मैं आपको टर्मिनेट कर रहा हूं, एक एक फ्लैट 3-3, 4-4 करोड़ का है, 40 करोड़, आप उसको पैसा थोड़ी देना आपको, मैं तो टर्मिनेट कर रहा हूं आपको डीए, आप उसको पैसा मत दो, लड़ता रहेगा और 10-15 साल. उसके बीच में आपका ही दूसरा एक सिस्टर कंसर्न खड़ा करो, मैं वापस दूसरा एक डीए बनाता हूं, we'll start from beginning. ना वापस बेचो आप फ्लैट. You understood what I'm telling? वो 10 फ्लैट जो बिका है, वो डिस्प्यूट में, वो उनको लड़ने दो, लड़ते रहने दो, और वो उसी 10 फ्लैट को दूसरा एक डेवलपर के साथ में मैं एंटर करता हूं कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, वापस बेचो. रेरा इज नॉट इन्वॉल्व्ड इन दिस. I'll tell you why.
You're terminating the first one will require RERA's permission.
I'll tell you why. As I told you, there are two sections which are redevelopment. There are two sections which are important in RERA, which is 8 obligation of the past promoter, and 15 change of promoter. Now, while you change the promoter, well, actually you are changing the promoter. 8 is termination, 15 is obligations. In both these sections, under both these sections, you need the consent of the allottees करके लिखा है वहाँ. Now, consent of the allottee, the new purchasers are allottees. बराबर है? Old लोगों को तो allotee करके गिन नहीं रहा है, मान नहीं रहा है. अभी new purchase, suppose the society had 30 existing members, the promoter has sold some 10 flats. रेरा के अगर इंटरप्रेट करते हो सेक्शन, तो उसके हिसाब से 10 लोग कैन डिसाइड ऑन changing the developer or getting all the obligations of the old promoter into new person. Whether that is logical, the answer is no. How can they decide? Land मेरा है, land society का है, सोसाइटी का डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट भले मैंने टर्मिनेट किया, डीए टर्मिनेट हो चुका है, बट हाउ कैन द न्यू परचेसर्स डिसाइड ऑन हु हैज टू कम एंड डेवलप इट? सो दैट इज नॉट द प्रॉपर वे टू डू इट. तो इसके लिए रेरा हैज टोल्ड दैट इन दीस टू सेक्शंस व्हाइल गेटिंग द कंसेंट ऑफ द अलॉटीज, इवन द ओरिजिनल will also be included for getting the total consent.
51%.
वो एक्चुअली प्लान चेंज करना है तो 2/3 है, और इसको डेवलपर चेंज करना है तो 51%. एंड इवन एक्सटेंशन देना है, रेरा का प्रोजेक्ट एक्सटेंशन है क्योंकि बिकॉज आई थिंक सम ऑफ यू मे बी डूइंग दैट रेरा रजिस्ट्रेशन. आई डू नॉट नो बिकॉज मेनी सीएस आर डूइंग रेरा रजिस्ट्रेशन एंड ऑब्वियसली 3 और 5 तो आप करते ही है. फॉर्म 3 फॉर्म 5 तो आपका होता ही है बहुत सारे लोगों का, विच इज अ वेरी बिग अपॉर्चुनिटी. इफ पीपल आर नॉट डूइंग, आई थिंक यू शुड स्टार्ट डूइंग इट. Form 3 and Form 5. Form 3 is for the withdrawal of money from the bank accounts after the architect and engineer certificate. Form 1 is architect, Form 2 is engineer, Form 3 is CA certificate, and Form 5 is your returns, your statutory returns वाला. So ये दोनों अगर करना है तो वो जो पुराने लोगों को भी साथ में लेके आपको जाना पड़ेगा if you want to change the promoter. So now what has happened? So Vaidya Akash has been overruled. Vaidya Akash में what some people, some group of some set of new purchasers, they approach the consumer court. District consumer में गए, order फिर उसमें challenge किया national consumer में. National consumer ruled in their favor. उसने बोला promoter है ना, तुम्हारा एक promoter चला गया, सोसाइटी तो promoter है ही ना, वो कहाँ गया? वो तो है. तो promoter, we are only concerned with promoter. He is a landowner promoter. The developer was a developer promoter. There are 2 promoters in this project. One is a landowner promoter society. The second one is a developer promoter who was constructing. तो developer promoter को जाने दो, landowner promoter आज के दिन में है, तो all liabilities shift to you. Change of promoter में shifting बोला आपने रेरा के हिसाब से, इधर change of promoter हो गया, deemed to be a change of promoter because it was earlier all permissions. Who took the permissions? The person who constructed, who constructs or causes to construct. वो जो इसके पहले वाले स्लाइड में नरेश के साइड में हम लोग देख रहे थे, तो causes to construct is society, who constructs is the builder. So both are equally liable. तो एक निकल गया तो उसका liability इसके ऊपर आ जाएगा. So now what the Supreme Court has told, actually the National Consumer Forum has held that जितने भी पैसा तुमने पुराने वालों से लिया था, you have to return back that money with 10% interest. Who? Society. तो अभी सोसाइटी में जितने लोग थे, 80 लोग थे सोसाइटी में, गोरेगांव पर्ल सोसाइटी में अर्लियर टेनेंट्स जो मेंबर्स थे वो 80 लोग थे. नए फ्लैट परचेसर्स अनदर 80. सो जितने भी हर एक फ्लैट परचेसर को 2-2 करोड़ रुपया देने के लिए बोला, क्योंकि एक 1.5 करोड़ लिया था, 4 साल 5 साल का इंटरेस्ट 10% के हिसाब से बढ़ा के बोला कि हर एक को या तो आप घर दे दो या तो आप पैसा वापस रिटर्न करो. वेरी रिसेंट ऑर्डर, लैंडमार्क जजमेंट. सो नो देयर इज अ साई ऑफ रिलीफ, क्योंकि हम लोग बहुत सारे जगह पे
वेलकम सर. कंप्लीट मास्टर we have Chairman sir and Vice President sir Mahaseva with us. Thank you both of you.
Sir,
Yeah, continue.
So here, there is a catch 20 situation where the developer goes and the new developer comes. Now, my understanding of RERA is that the RERA says that whatever were the obligations, determined or entered into with the previous developer, the new developer has to execute those covenants
right.
strictly.
Right.
Would that mean that the redevelopment portion will suffer because of that?
No, redevelopment portion will not suffer. Here, RERA is only going to cater to the new purchasers.
I
The
understand.
redevelopment, the earlier society members, उनका जो उन्होंने terminate किया ना, they have terminated. They have terminated the agreement with the builder. The new person, whoever is going to come, or whoever from with whom they are going to enter into a development agreement, obviously has to cater to the entire development and will also take the obligation from whatever has been created by the erstwhile developer.
As regards the sale.
Yes,
right?
as regards the
So
sale.
as regards the redevelopment component where he is saying that I'll pay you this much of a rent, this much of an extra.
वो तो उनके बीच में है ना sir, because they are only terminated, they are only going to go for a new contract. तो वो नया DA में जो आएगा,
Development portion will also remain unaffected.
it may remain, it may not remain.
It may not is what I feel, sir, the chartered accountant need to give a thought that it may not.
It may not, because that all depends on what contract you are entering, going to enter.
What is the profit structure that the another person has, the another developer has?
नहीं, profit मतलब, देखिए, it also depends on at what stage the project is stuck or at what instance the developer has been terminated.
Correct.
So many, as you rightly stated, chartered accountants maybe they are the right, probably the right professionals to at least calculate along with the architect कि feasibility क्या होने वाला है और कितना पैसा आएगा और मेरे को लेना है या नहीं लेना है project.
Sir, have
See,
you
obligation is
kind of cases where because of that the redevelopment portion, what they were supposed to get in the initial stage, that compensation or the rent or whatever gets affected, the
Yes.
coffers gets affected or the extra area gets affected.
Okay, I think we are on the question whether a society should go for a developer or should go for a self-development. There is a question.
No, actually we haven't reached that.
No,
Now,
sir.
what are the, now we have come to the redevelopment part wherein one case, in the case if DA is terminated.
And the new developer comes. Under the RERA is supposed that the new developer has to step into the shoes of the previous developer and honor all the obligations under the RERA towards the LOTs.
Okay, fine.
So because of that, whether my redevelopment portion,
Yes.
financial considerations will get affected,
Okay.
possibly yes.
Okay, so I think I'll take 15-20 minutes. So good evening, friends. And let me tell you, the redevelopment is one of the complex subject.
You can come here.
And it is so much complex that within 2 hours, it is not easy to handle. But let us understand the basics. Maybe I am taking you to the root. What was the purpose of redevelopment? For why the redevelopment was happening in Mumbai? The first and foremost reason is the building becomes dilapidated. The senior citizens are not able to support themselves with the financial obligations. So the government, on the basis of various accommodation and the representations, said, yes, we will definitely help them. How can it be helped? In allowing them to construct additional area so that economics is reached. Are you understanding?
Yes.
What is the economics? The economics is the existing members are able to get a new house without much burden on them in respect of rent for the transit accommodation and in respect of the reconstruction that is to be done without expecting any single extra fee. Please understand, it is just a scheme of the government by making an amendment in the development control and promotion regulation saying that you have 10,000 square foot land, you have constructed 10,000 square foot. Okay, I will allow you to construct another 10,000 square foot on the same piece of land so that That 10,000 square feet, which we will be able to sell in the open market as a society, collect the money that is going to come, and then existing members will get their house as it is reconstructed with the new amenities, and you will also get a transit rent. That's all, and remaining will go to the, construction cost, approval cost, and selling cost, so many things, and the profit to the developer. This is a simple account. However, the greed of us does not end, and therefore, we once again represented the government that we should be assured some additional area which will help us, that our family gets extended. Earlier, I was one and one, I had children, now they are grown up. I want additional area so that I will have my own bedroom, children will have their bedroom. So give me some comfort wherein I am able to get extra area without additional payment. Government agreed.
Fungible.
Okay, and accordingly, 35% fungible FSI has been given to you, wherein if your existing area is 400 square foot, another 35% you get free of cost, so that this fungible FSI is not sold in the open. Now the thing is, the housing society is so greedy, the members are so greedy, that we would like to get more and more from the developer. We want to understand what the developer is going to earn, and because we want to have eye on that, and we work out a feasibility report. And even if the builder says it is not affordable, still we go to 1 or 2, 3, 4 people, and then we enter into an agreement with that person who assures me the maximum. Whether he is capable of delivering that or not. It is something like a cooperative bank, where PMC bank says, we'll give you 12% interest, give us, and people of housing society put 10 crores, 15 crores, 20 crores, 30 crores. Housing society people have kept because they are getting 12% rate of interest, 8%, 10% rate of interest with the PMC. And what's the end result? The principal has gone. And that's what exactly is happening in Mumbai and Maharashtra. 10,000 projects are stalled. I am going on record, 10,000 projects are stalled. What do you mean by those 10,000 projects? Why they are stalled? And this is not the statistic that I am giving. You just go to Mahindra website, you will come to. Now, out of 40,000 projects, 25% projects are stalled. Now, what do you mean by stalled? Stalled means they are out of the house, they are not getting rent, they are not getting purpose, they are not able to construct further because there is a litigation between the builder and the society. Now, we basically do not understand the crux that we are the landowners, we are the existing owners. We as a landowner is entering into a contract, commercial contract with the developers, with a commercial terms and conditions, that's called the joint development agreement, and asking him that, okay, you are getting 20,000 square foot, and the 7,000 square foot fungible, out of 10,000, you are getting 27,000, out of which give me 35, 1.35, that means 50% builder will give it to me. He agrees. He gives you rent. You agree. He gives you purpose. No, if that was fine. But thereafter somebody is saying, no, not 35%, you will be given 40%. So the moment he gives 5% more, and proper somebody has agreed to 1,000 square foot, the other person says 2,000 square foot. I am not interested in knowing who is the builder who is going to deliver or not. My concentration is who is giving me extra gain, extra purpose, extra rent. Why he is able to give? He makes a story that, sir, actually I want to profit, but I want to do your society, and I am coming to because I am a contractor. I have done for Vinandani, I have done for Rustamji, I have done for Godrej, I have done for Mahindra Space. I am a big contractor. Look at my, but I have not got any contract for doing a development, and yours is a 7,000 square feet, which is a very small plot, which I can do. Please give me an opportunity. Therefore, I am giving you. And I buy that story because all the people say, ये भी builder है, ये भी builder है, ये भी देने वाला है, वो भी देने वाला है, ये 35% दे रहे हैं, 40% दे रहे हैं, 5% ज्यादा देते हैं तो अपना calculate करो 50,000 per square foot into whatever XYZ. So I'm getting 10 lakhs more, like 15 lakhs more. Why you are not giving it to you? And secondly, these people, with due respect, they also manage the management. And the management committee people do not understand for some or the other reason that should I compromise? Should I get into this type of compromise? But still they get into compromise because they think that I am putting extra efforts and every developer is out. Now when X developer is saying I can give you 5 lakh rupees, another is giving 7 lakh rupees. He is giving me not only 40% extra to the members, 5% extra area corpus rent, he is also giving me additional as against 25 lakhs, he is giving to the community 50 lakh rupees. So my concentration gets diverted there and I enter into a commercial transaction. Please understand. Having entered into a commercial transaction, now tell me, and this transaction you need to appoint a PMC, but the person who is getting, he says, don't appoint a PMC because you will not have the money. And because you are having a lot of money and you cannot spend, I will give you a PMC. Because this is only a formality to be done, and wherever the digital need to be managed, I will do that, don't worry. So you buy that story also, you compromise there also to take the help of the PMC recommended by. Then he says, advocates of your solicitor will charge at least 10 lakh rupees to do the vetting of the agreement, development agreement, other things. And then what happens is, he says, I will not be able to pay that. Instead, you take in my, this one, I will recommend, and his advocate fees also I will pay, don't worry. So you go with that advocate, and your society says, fine. The OB advocate, AB advocate, apne kya problem? So let us have a common advocate, why spend extra money? So this way, you compromise and get into an agreement. Having entered in the agreement, the execution does not happen that easily. There will be some miscreants who oppose, maybe not because of the redevelopment and other, because of the personal grudge that chairman secretary had one day, because he had not allowed parking or he had taken a recovery proceedings against me, or he had not allowed me to, carry out the repair or given an NOC for loan. So this is that chairman secretary also will prolong, and then some agencies will be involved. So in the process, yes, the day will happen, everything will happen, and you are out of the house, and you are given a rent, salary and all, or rather rent purpose some part of this. And P3AA is sometimes done, not done, fine. He brings the IOD some or the other because at the time of development agreement, he says, I'll give a bank guarantee. As per the DA also, there's a bank guarantee required. As per the government resolution also, government guarantee is required. But you have already compromised. So then none of the developer agrees to give a bank guarantee. And why should? So ठीक है, जो 5th floor में आने वाला है, उसका हम mortgage करेंगे. So fine, that is mortgage. So that only hypothetically it is mortgage. Correct? Another psychologically it is mortgage. So you have a DA, everything, and in the process, he is not able to pay the rent, he is not able to go forward, and he has already created a third party liability. Why he has created a third party liability? That he has demolished the construction, what is known as, he has got the permission for construction. Having got the permission, he gets the RERA, he registers the project, and the RERA rule says, which is unfortunate in Maharashtra, or the only state in Maharashtra, or rather only state in India, which allows the builder whatever money he has invested in on the first day itself. None of the states permits like that. All the states permit in proportion to the construction of the project. Here is a state in Maharashtra where the Maharashtra authorities also, when I discussed with them, they are saying we are allowing because the land cost is huge, the approval cost is huge. With the customers, we don't allow them to withdraw the money in the first go, then how they will be able to further construct. So having said this, that developer goes to a financial institution, projects the mortgage the projects, and takes 50 to 20, 30, 40 crores of the project, and that one gets settled. Where it goes to another project. He sells about 15 to 20 flats, which he was supposed to construct. This entire story, and I'm not saying a story which is not there. I will get you to the developer here who has done like this for not 1, 2, 3, 330 projects, 25 projects, 10 projects. And we have been handling this type of cases. Coming to the point, he has already cycled the money. And what has happened? He has already taken the booking from the people and he has stopped. Now he has stopped because the builders, what he has done, 50% money he has taken in advance, 20, 30 flats he has booked, and banks has also given the loan. The chairman secretaries have already given the NOC. So he gets about 30, 40, 50 crores and he is happy and he walks out. and he says, "Aapko jo karna hai." Then he will put an advocate and the case will go on in the High Court. Now, tell me the situation. The situation is that you will terminate the bidder. Now, look at the situation where 80 crore or let us say 50 crore liability is already created on that project with the 20 additional flats constructed and the bank loan of 10 crore, 15 crore, whatever. Now, your rent is stopped, your corpus is stopped, building is halfway, or maybe up to plane or first, second story. And now, the law says that you are a partner, jointly and solely responsible. The housing society who has entered into a development agreement with the developer is a joint venture and therefore you are jointly and solely responsible. Because you are jointly and solely responsible not only to the banks, to the purchaser of the land, because you as a landowner is a promoter as per RERA. You as a landowner name is appearing in the RERA as a second promoter land. This simple logic is not known to the people, and that is why many people have lost their, area. Forget about the area. Now you ask me, have you seen this? I will give you an example of one project that, Govt. No. Additional hands. 32 members. They did all this and ultimately they had to compromise. The existing area was 600 square foot. They have to agree for 450 square foot. They had to agree. The entire building was demolished because halfway the building was demolished and they also agreed to pay 2,000 extra. Now I am dealing one matter in National Park, which I will, if you want, one of the days you put, I will get 5-6 cases. Because this is required for a chartered accountant. JB Nagar, where is the convener?
You are not waiting. We'll do that.
You are there. So you give me an opportunity like this. Interested people, I'll get 5 societies case study.
Please.
Okay, and they will come explain to you what exactly is transpired, how they have been used, and where they have made a mistake. Now, thing is, there it happened. So 150 square foot reduced, 2,000 square foot they agreed, and they are lost. Now, at least now they are in the house because after 50 years. Rent is gone, purpose is gone, everything is gone. Initially you paid 2,000. Now another case around 12 years have passed, National Park. The name of the society is Shiv Kripa, New Shiv Kripa Cooperative Society. Existing members are around 80. Not so many. It's about 45, 50. Existing members around 50. And new flats are 70. Okay. Now, new flat 72 sold by the builder. Builder took a loan from Reliance Housing Finance about 10 crores. So their mortgage. The project is halfway, no rent, nothing. And in between, he gave it to one development manager. And the development manager started saying that I'm not able to do because now nearly I have already spent 12 crore extra from my pocket. Another 25 crore has to be put in order to raise the building. So around 37 crores. And this has to be paid by 72 people, new people, and old people of 45. Together, you have to pay and per square foot 5,500. If you are giving me 5,500, the construction cost is 3,000 per square foot. He says, unless until you give existing members, they lost rent for last 12 years, forget about it. They lost the corpus, forget about it. Their existing rent also they are paying. In addition to that, now they have to pay 5,500 per square foot. Everybody is shell out near about 30 lakhs per flat. They have to give in order, whereas construction cost is 120 lakhs, but they have to give 30 lakh rupees, existing members and the new members, whatever they have agreed, 1.5 crore, 2 crore per flat. Now over and above, they have to pay additional of 5,500 into that. So which means effectively, if they have booked for, let us say 20,000 rupees square foot, now 25,000, and they are ready to do it. And they are now proceeding. And I am only handling that. So there are n number of cases. So now the question is whether the existing societies will lose their title? The answer is yes. Will the existing society lose their benefits? The answer is yes. If you do not take due care. If the existing societies are not able to take due care of their, the counterpart properly and their capacity to deliver, I think you have had it. So now I can tell you one very important matter, which of course we would discuss further. But because I am on the subject, I will tell you. One society.
As you said here, because society is also a developed part of the
Correct.
development. But land is a lease land,
Sure,
and the land owner himself is redeveloping the building.
correct.
Then still the society will be,
You are given your land building to them for because
the building is on the lease basis by the landlord.
you have got a lease rights.
Yeah,
Since you have a lease right, you are allowing that the same landowner to construct.
correct,
So that means you are allowed him to demolish your building,
yes.
and therefore you are, since you are given, you are a partner in the profit. Correct? Now coming to the one excellent case, this is about 12 years journey in the litigation. There is the boring of World Coping Society. Have you heard about this case? Yes.
No, we were just.
Okay. I'll tell you what is the matter of boring of World Coping Society. Because we are on that subject, so let me tell you. Boring of World Coping Society is a society of Mara where there are 60 existing members. I'll share you with the judgment which you can circulate to people. So 60 are the existing members. Now, what developer did? Developer, created a liability for about another 80 approximately flats. Okay, so 60 plus 80, it comes to 140. So 70 flats each. So 2 towers, A tower and B tower. Builder is none other than, because it's a recorded, so there's no problem. It's a public domain. So Sai group of companies, James Tanna and Deep Tanna, they are the promoters of Sai group,
Okay.
where they have got lot of edge on the redevelopment of the market. They could not deliver. But what they did, they constructed up to 11th story of the A wing and 11th story of B wing. And when they constructed 11th story of A wing and B wing, because the existing members wanted on the upper floors, okay. Sorry, they constructed up to 11th story of 1 wing. Sorry. Yes, only one wing. They constructed to 11th story of 1 wing, and another B wing was not constructed. It was yet to be constructed. But all the sales of B wing was done, money was recovered, and A wing up to 11th story was constructed, and up to 11th story A wing was able to accommodate, or it could accommodate all 60 members of the existing. And actually speaking, up to 5th floor only they were entitled in A wing, and up to 5th floor of B wing. Because in B wing the building was not constructed, they went to the High Court, lot of consent happened, this happened, then the arbitrator was appointed, arbitrator terminated, 200-page arbitration. You should go to that arbitration judgment, which is a private, I can share with you, that 200-page arbitration order one should read to understand to what extent builder was taking the society for a ride. This is fine. The arbitrator passed a judgment saying that the developer is terminated. Had the developer terminated, what happens now? Had the builder terminated, the society is given a liberty to reshuffle the flats. That means in one building area, all the people were accommodated, all 60 people. They developed one 5 crore. There was a bank guarantee which they liquidated. Some of they managed and they were housed. And the third party which is created, they did not sit tight. They went to RERA. RERA gave a favorable order that society should give. But in the appellate tribunal, when it went, appellate tribunal said nothing with, because they said Vaidya Akash, there was a judgment of Vaidya Akash, where under the MOFA, if the builder is terminated by the society, the purchaser needs to go to the builder only, and society cannot be made responsible and accountable. On the basis of judgment, the appellate tribunal said nothing. They went to the High Court. High Court also did not entertain. But there was one person who was very smart. They went with the registered agreement, two people went to the city civil court. And look at the litigation. The purchaser went to city civil court and the city civil court gave a stay on the allocation of that flat, because which is a completed flat, to the existing owners. These people on that, the society went to the High Court. Now, having gone in the High Court, the High Court also did not entertain. They said nothing new. Then the matter went to Supreme Court. The allotee did not win. When the matter Supreme Court, we were saying that this is what happened. Then the Supreme Court also did not entertain, because Supreme Court will not get into the merits of the case. The matter came back to the High Court and High Court said nothing. So that means that was a problem. Now, these people, we had about 10 to 12 allottees on our side. We went to High Court saying that let at least arbitrator listen to us. Now, arbitrator did not listen to us. He said, no, you are a third party. Whatever rights you are getting to the builder. So builder is a necessary party. You go to the builder. Because they did not allow, our allottees 11, 12 went to High Court. The High Court said nothing doing because it is a prerogative of the arbitrator and he is not allowing, and you are not a party to the contract. So there is no question of you getting entry to the arbitrator. So the matter went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said, what exactly you want? We said, at least we are a necessary party for the arbitrator. At least allow us to listen to our prayer by the arbitrator, because he is refusing. He said, okay, you withdraw the petition with the liberty to go to the arbitrator if he entertains. Again, if he entertains. So, as per the law. So the Supreme Court gave a liberty to go to the arbitrator according to the arbitrator's jurisdiction. But if he decides, takes or doesn't take, then you go wherever you want. He went to the arbitrator accepted, and then the matter was heard, and then he said, nothing, you don't have any locus matter. Okay, so that means gone. Now, again, with buyers, there were about 3 people. They went to National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. 3 people who had paid 1.5 crore each. They went to National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. Their matter was heard for 3-4 years, and thereafter they passed the judgment saying that since now the society has taken over, society has stepped into the shoes of the builder, and the land was created by the builder on the basis of the development agreement. There is an agency agreement. They are given a property based on that it has been done. At the relevant time, the agency agreement was valid, and they have acted as an agent on behalf of the society. Because the developer is none other than the agent of the this one, even the agency contract act, everything supports. And if there was no such development agreement, there was no power of attorney, there was no such agency agreement, the builder would not have been able to create rights. So therefore, the society cannot say that they are not the part. And a beautiful judgment, which of course I will share, and that judgment said, if the builder society is not able to give, and they had said, at least let them give them. So because the project is not completed, the National Commission for Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, NCRDC, okay, refund the entire money, 1.5 crore, with 9% interest from the date of payment. That means 12 years, 1.5 crore, what was paid has to be refunded at 9%. That means 1.5 crore into at least okay, more than 2 times. So that means now they have to pay as against 1.5 crore taken by the builder to be paid by the society. Of course, society will not keep quiet. Look at the litigation cost that the society has incurred. Now, society did not leave it, they went to the Supreme Court. Then the matter went to the Honorable Supreme Court. Supreme Court said, the matter is complicated, but don't allow us to adjudicate it. And directed the society that you better settle. Okay, the society, after rounds of meeting, could not settle with the flat purchasing. And matter was finally taken up to discuss, decide on the value. And the Honorable Supreme Court said, We have gone through these things. There is no merit in the argument of the society, and therefore the consumer court judgment has been upheld. Now, what is the complication? What is the repercussion? Now, the repercussion is there are about 80 people. Each people have paid about 1.5 crore. 1.5 crore into 80, around 140. Around 80 plus, correct? Yeah, 120. Around 140, no? 120, sorry, 120 crore, the principal amount into 2 times 240 crore. Now, who has to pay this 240 crore? The society. Then those 60 people who are there, they have to pay 240 crore. And if they don't pay, what will happen? If they don't pay, there is a Supreme Court judgment, the implementation of the order will happen. How the implementation will happen? The property will be attached, the collector will come, and the existing people's house will be sold. Now, why it will be sold? The reason of selling is they are the people who have facilitated the developer to raise that money from the innocent flat purchases, and therefore they were the partners in profit sharing, they are the partners in. And therefore, yes, you are right, partners in a crime. And therefore, now they are alert. Now the walls are going towards another line. So I have made a 15 minutes video, if possible, that also I will share you on this. And I would only tell you that why should society not go for separate? If these are the open liabilities, you are allowing somebody to create, why not have a control on it? We as a charter, the purpose of coming is, we as a charter accountant, can we educate this to our members? Can we educate to our clients? Can we educate our friends? Can we educate our relatives? Can we make a difference in their lives? And tell them, sir, don't go for self-development to get extra area. Don't go to self-development for getting extra purpose. Please go for the self-development to have your own house, your own house within your control. And there are n number of professions whose help can be taken. And at least if you appoint a contractor, you terminate whatever the work he has done, you are to pay only that. If you have hired an architect, engineer, or anybody, whatever service you have taken, only that much you have to pay. But at least the FSI, third party rights, everything will be done. And there are now agencies who are there to help you as a development manager. There are agencies to help you as a project management. There are various agencies which are coming up. So I would suggest that society should always look for self-development. Now the people may say, how can I do the self-development? Yes, it's an orientation. Because we are staying in a house which is very dear to our heart, and this is a well only one which is real, which is in our custody. If at all we don't spend little more time in understanding, so I think that is a wrong. So we'll have an orientation program. You can say that, and we can conduct 2, 3, 4 months orientation program. Because any of builder is here, but why not get oriented? Then there is a book which I have written, about 50 people I got together, engineers and other people. We have written a book on self-development because people are saying, where is the book for self-development? So I documented that self-development book is available, and number of videos are there, and we can show you an example where the projects have stopped. We could bring them out. One of a project in Borvili of Mehul Choksi, where there was an ED attachment. That project we could bring out. So there are so many things which we could do under the self-development. So I think we as a chartered accountant, if we are able to at least tell the people, I'm not here, but I'm here to tell you the reality. And it is not that people will say 75%, 40,000 project में 30,000 project तो सही है ना, 10,000 ही तो गया ना, तो हम लोग अच्छा बिल्डर को चुनेंगे, ठीक है ना, अच्छा बिल्डर को चुना ना, मुझे थोड़ी ये है बोलना है कि बिल्डर सब बिल्डर गलत है, नहीं, but I'm saying why not look at some of the aspects and don't be after the money, don't be after the greed, look at whether the builder is able to give you proper delivery or not. I think that's all I want to say. Now, development, we will discuss with you the procedure. You may ask a lot of questions to him. And before that, 2, 3 things which I would announce. One is about amnesty scheme. Naresh bhai must have explained you.
Yeah.
How many societies do not have the deemed conveyance, just rate or conveyance, you are not obtained. I would say that this scheme is the best opportunity where a deemed conveyance, when the societies are not issued conveyance, they are going for a deemed conveyance, they can take the benefit of this. Earlier scheme, it was not permitted. This time, there is a list of documents which are covered under the scheme. So all the schemes, including the housing society, where the allotment of the flats are done, where the deemed conveyance is pending. So if you are able to buy that book, the book which we have written with the help of retired IAS officer, with the interaction with the department, we have done that book in the last 15 days. A lot of interaction happened, and the book is in the digest form. It is not that somebody may say, I'm here to sell the book. No, the answer is that this book has got 4 parts. And even if you are not taking a benefit of the amnesty, at least second part of the book is also important. What is stamp duty, what is registration, and the procedure related to that online payment, how you can get the registration done, what are the documents required. So second part I have covered that. Third part, we have taken out the various circulars from the 1950 onwards related to the stamp duty registration, which is very important, valuation of factors, this, that, all the circulars we have taken. And fourth part, very important again, the representation that as an association we have done with the government, because there was a fear that the agreement, even if you pay the stamp duty, the agreement cannot be registered. So I have represented to the government, met the cooperative minister and IGR, everybody, and we have convinced them that, sir, when you can give a deemed conveyance to the society, when the builder is not giving a land and building, you are allowing us to the Govt authority to do it under the Maharashtra Ownership Right Amendment, which of course one of the representation that we did and we could get it. Same way I said, why not have a deemed registration? If a member has paid the stamp duty and his agreement of 1983, 84, 85, 2007 is not available, they will apply to the registrar. Registrar will give a hearing and if required public notice, thereafter he can register the document. Because registration requires 2 parties. So on behalf of the seller, the registrar can sign. On behalf of buyer, any of the purchase will sign. So that type of representation we have done. So I think positively in a few days, maybe 2-3 months time, positively that amendment is expected. Otherwise, we are also going ahead and maybe we'll take it to the next level, whatever is required to be done. But you will see a lot of representation that we have done. And one more representation which you have covered in that book is about having a regulatory authority for redevelopment. See what happens. Today housing society is dealing with the day-to-day management. They are not aware of the redevelopment. And there is a 79A direction, but that is also as no much teeth into. The RERA is protecting the purchaser, new buyer. Now, if somebody wants to go for self-redevelopment, they need what is known as the good guidance. They need a good contractor. They need some protection. And again, self-development or redevelopment. So, in order to have a relation between the developer and the contractor, PMC, advocates, and to correlate all this, we have requested the government to have a self-regulatory. There is a redevelopment authority. Maybe Atul Save, who is the housing minister, he also in principle agreed. Yes, it's a good idea. We need to do because a lot of societies are suffering. So if that redevelopment authority comes, I think one more opportunity for you and me to practice, but more importantly to protect the people. So I think I would request you to have that book. And one more book which we have written about 100 people who have come together. I think that is rare.
Sir, taxman, they have.
Yeah, just ask them.
Their internet is there, it is kept there.
Yeah. So, see, there is a book called RERA. Now, this Marera book, this Marera book, I would strongly recommend, not because it is written by me or I have authored it, because the book has got 81 chapters. Now, each chapter of that book has been done the way chartered accountant books are. Because the book has been oriented for a chapter. Now, you may say how that is being oriented, because each compliance, suppose if it is a certification has to be done, how the certification should be done, what is to be looking into, what are the, as a tabular form with the relevance things. If I have to do the audit, what is to be done, how to be looking into, if I have to do the registration chapter. I have not gone through that like a law book, where they go with the sections and explanation. I have not gone with that. What I have done is, I have gone with the subject wise. So this covers, income tax, real estate to real estate, GST, consumer code, IBC, Benami Property Act. So everything related to, this, real estate is 360-degree real estate, where 100 people across India have come together, vetted this, and most of them are chartered. So I think they will be giving whatever the discount they give, but more importantly, I would say that you should own this book. If you are not doing RERA, fine, but at least if you are doing or having a client on real estate, even to advise your clients related to income tax, yes, I think that's a book. If it is related to real estate GST, yes, it is related to IBC, how interplay of IBC, consumer code, and RERA. So all this is all in one. So I would recommend you with this, I am concluding. If you have got one or two questions, certainly I can take up.
So sir, in the development agreement, what are clauses we can include? So that at least like it is also.
See, any development agreement takes, yes, any development agreement takes at least 2 to 3 months to conclude. Okay. So I would not be able to say what transpires in 2-3 months in 1 second or 5 minutes or 7 minutes, but I can only tell you, you need to look into whether the builder whom you are selecting is good or not. If he is a good builder, even if your development agreement is not watertight, no problem, because he is going to deliver. If a person is anyhow fraud and he is not going to deliver, you make whatever the watertight compartment that create, it will have no one. That does not mean that you should not look into. The problem in the development agreement or anything is post. Complaint has to be done by somebody. Post what? Post vacating your premises. If you vacate premises, he does all the compliance. The moment you vacate, he breaks. Then you go to any court, any judge, any clause will not know it. So therefore, selecting a developer is important. Still, you are saying some clauses, yes, if you can look into, you should not vacate the premises unless until the full approval is there. And when you are saying approval, complete CC is there. Now, there are people, they are saying, okay, DA में लिखा है ना full CC चलेगा अभी तो हमको बिल्डिंग खाली करना है वो तो 0 FSI से लेके आएगा हम लेके आने दो and people get it. Be ourselves compromise, I am saying. So anyhow,
But is CC given before demolition?
huh? Yes.
Because it is not one of the conditions.
Demolition के पहले CC नहीं मिलेगा, but approval you can put, all premium can be paid. See, IOD is there, na? IOD also people take only for 1 FSI. If you are taking FSI of 2.7, you can take IOD for 2.7. वो बोले तुम कभी खाली करके मान ले मैं अभी क्यों खाली कर ये काम करेगा ठीक है सब हम खाली करने वाले होगा आपका पे ऑर्डर आपका पेमेंट इधर भी तो रखो कुछ तो करो so can you have some escrow mechanism? These are some of the things which they don't agree.
And last but
Sir,
not
my society has gone for redevelopment and we have selected a listed company as a like a builder who will be developing it. So hopefully like.
No, there should not be a problem. Yeah.
Sir, आप बोलोगे की बात कर रहे हो लिस्ट हमारे बोलो लिस्ट में बहुत बड़े डेवलपमेंट अभी चल रहे हैं समर पर मिल रहा है मिल रहा है तो आपने सुना
सुना आपने बोला तो सुना
समर पर
फिर आपकी लगी थी मैं काफी बोला आप लोगों ने सुना
समर्थन कर देना।
Honestly, I have not got into this one. So
one of them will state and
only thing what I would say is that we are a chartered accountant, correct? So if any developer comes today because of the digital era, it's very easy to find. So find out who is their, partners, contractor, this that, and look at their contract hours. See, okay. So the moment you know the contractor, you know the expeditions, you know the chartered accountants, it was easy to see. You won't believe. Some people come to me and ask, sir, how is this builder? I just go through the RERA website. मैं देखता हूँ कौन सी है वो सी को मैं फोन करता हूँ बोलते don't worry, this is without prejudice and keeping confidential, but I want to understand in general. So he shares. Okay, any chartered accountant will not, बोले मेरा नाम मत बताओ, but yes, he will share his. Then I talk to the architect. With many architects known, or even if it is not known, sir, this is a builder where you are an architect. So what is the status? How is payment? What are the other projects he has done? How you know him? So take some input from him. And once you get the put in the Google, find out, go to the MCA website, get some details. So you need to do a lot of homework. And once you do this homework, then I think it is easier. Because one of the, even if you get an estate agent who has done, तो उसको पूछो ये बिल्डर ने कौन सा प्रोजेक्ट कैसा किया और उस नाम से आप पूछो रेरा में आपका मतलब because when they are announcing the website, their own websites are there, वो upcoming back projects सब बोलते हैं, तो visit करो, लेकिन अपने को मेहनत नहीं करना, प्रॉब्लम क्या है, हमको मेहनत नहीं करना, है ना, तो आप उधर जाओ, कितना कंप्लीटेड प्रोजेक्ट है, वो बिल्डिंग में जाके कुछ ना एक बार देखो, सर मैं एक स्टोरी बताना चाहता हूँ, I gave a quotation for, my team convinced just to get a job. And he said, okay, give me, names of the society and contact details. I gave the name of the society contact details. But those societies, 2-3 societies in my this one career, they did not go to the society chairman secretary, जिसको मैंने contact किया. They went to, where some other members in the society. They inquired कि ये आदमी ने काम किया है क्या? और कैसा किया क्या है, how is your experience? So there, but how I came to know, they only said thereafter, मैंने आपका चेयरमैन सेक्रेटरी को कांटेक्ट नहीं किया, मेरा एक पहचान से मैं इसके पास गया, एक दूसरा मैं रैंडमली एक सोसाइटी में गया, ये आदमी को पूछा, तो आजू बाजू वाले को भी पूछा, वो सोसाइटी के आजू बाजू में भी आपका चलता है जो आपको नहीं दे, एंड देन हु इज द कंसल्टेंट, उनसे हमने वेरीफाई किया कि देगा तो चलेगा क्या नहीं, क्योंकि हर आदमी 3-4 कोटेशन तो लेते हैं ना, लेने के बाद वो दूसरा का जिसका सेकंड है, मेरा तो फर्स्ट ही रहता है हमेशा, मेरा हाईएस्ट रहता है, तो दूसरा तीसरा उनको भी बोलते कि इनका कोटेशन आया, तो मैं उनको दूं कि आपको दूं, तो
One of the Pura base.
so the question is very simple, you need to do the due diligence. If you don't do it, you are yeah, even you said listed company, not necessarily that each listed company is good, HCL was also a listed company. हाँ?
बोलते पार्टी
मेरे को मालूम है, मुझे मालूम नहीं है, पहले आपको what did I say? HCL also listed company, that's it, that should suffice you, whether it's Kote Patil, whether it is Rustamji, whether it is Virandani, don't go by this, go with the exposure that they have. What is the exposure? If the exposure is more than their capacity, then again you need to give a warning signal. HDL has not failed because of anything else, because the exposure that he did. And Nirmal Lifetime has not failed because of his unethical practice, because of the exposure he got. Monthly Housing went into the jail not because of something else, because the exposure that he took. So people in real estate, with due respect to them, they think that ये project मेरा हाथ से जाना ही नहीं चाहिए, ये project मेरा हाथ से मिलना ही है, ये project इधर तो delivery नहीं हुआ, ये दुनिया में सब
Over trading.
Whereas हमारे पास 2 कस्टमर आते हैं, हमको मालूम कि मेरे पास 4 स्टाफ है, 5वां हमको अच्छा काम देगा, क्योंकि बोलते हैं भाई हमारे पास नहीं है टाइम, हमारे पास वक्त नहीं, we cannot deliver. Because we know our limitation, yes. But those developers, they don't understand the limitation because they estimate that they can do anything and everything, and they can manage. And that overconfidence takes them to over trading, and then we come into the trouble. So look at what I'm saying is, whoever is the builder, the way to analyze is, what are the existing projects, what is the level in which they are, and study, make a comparative study of their existing projects. And what is the exposure they have, how much loan they are having, look at it, and then if you think that yes, it is within their means and they can, I'm not saying that it will be a watertight discussion or something like that, but it will help you. ठीक है?
तो सर हमने अभी तक BA तक नहीं किया, but we are like.
नहीं ठीक है, आप चेयरमैन सेक्रेटरी हैं,
आपको due diligence तो करना पड़ेगा. Kote Patil has a name, but you do due diligence.
नहीं, she wants to take advantage of my presence here.
Actually, all the way I have come for that only.
और नहीं आ रहा था, वो जेबी लगा स्टडी सर्कल वाले काम
दो डालते थे,
दो डालते थे।
हाँ हमको 2 डालते थे फिर वो।
As you suggest that self-leader, generally one question comes that how that initial funding is to be done because some payment is to be.
Let us do one thing. It's a long exercise. Let him complete. We will have 3 days complete residential course.
Yeah.
Or
That will,
JB Nagar
Let me see, let me-
and there is a lot of demand.
RRC or something.
It has to be RRC.
So will.
Why RRC? Not that for with the family and all. It's dedicated to take it to the shape of whether we can do or your own house which is getting affected and we try to have it overnight for the 3 days so that
concentration.
You.
मैं आपको बताऊं ये बुक जो है ना ये बुक है ना हमने कैसा लिखा we did 4 days RERA residential program at Hyderabad. You need to understand how this book has come out. 4 days RERA residential program. Morning 9 o'clock we start the session and evening 11 o'clock we conclude the session. And next day there has to be another people who have written the book have to give a presentation. So they have to improve the presentation. So in the night up to 2 AM they sit because we had done about 10 teams. So each team was given certain subjects and they were supposed to do it in advance, write give it to us and then do the presentation. 15 authorities were there. 15 RERA authorities from different states had come. And up to 11 o'clock, these authorities were also sitting with us, 9 to 11. उसके बाद next day presentation देना तो 2 बजे तक वो काम करते थे and then they used to give a presentation on next day. So 4 days when we did continuously, we could come out of this type of book. So therefore, if we are going for self-development, the paper presentation will prepare a team and I will allocate the subject and given the subject to them, then there can be smaller group who will do the presentation and we'll create that ecosystem wherein everybody will get the knowledge, opportunity to represent. So that is how we will do. Let us see. So आप read ले लो.
Yes, definitely. Read of two communities.
Yes, just see. And you will get at least 200 people you will get.
And JB Nagar, so members of.
No, JB Nagar, छोड़ो. See, when you say JB Nagar, you will announce.
Yes.
So that means Mumbai has at least.
We target only JB Nagar.
No, you give an opportunity to JB Nagar.
So.
That can be
You can make them number.
It can be in with our WR.
We can make them number. Not to.
Hosting JB Nagar, then member can.
Oh, they say type.
Yeah.
I was told this is a binder. This is very good. What is this resort? नहीं,
Keshav Srishti.
Keshav Srishti. It is at Plan.
Yeah.
And it is very close.
Yes.
Wanted to spend time. And train city is under. And they are saying it's good amenities.
Good ambience and very reasonable.
You have gone there now.
Yeah.
I said, then,
Coming for the seminar.
yeah.
So
So look at the capacity, look at the things that we can have.
Yes, yes.
Residential
Facilities there.
people, whatever is coming. And it will make cost economics. And what we will do is we will come out with the book also at that time. Book means your own presentation will become a publication. Which will, because everybody has put efforts in that digestion. Okay, and I already requested, let me tell you, the author of the book or the, to guide us, Gautam Chatterjee. You have heard about Gautam Chatterjee?
Yes.
Gautam Chatterjee agreed to chair that study group. He said, you make a study group and I will be very happy to be the author of that book. And he was a housing secretary, he was a SRA CEO, he was a MADA CEO, he was a RERA, this one, additional municipal commissioner, he was in the planning of DP, Development Control and Promotion Regulation, that 2034, the entire development plan, that entire suggestion objection, he was the chairman of that. So he has that knowledge. So I requested him, he has agreed. So therefore, if you are told any of you are ready to contribute and being a part of that residential course, yes, you can give the name. At least we require 50 people, 50 to 60 people, and we'll do it as early as possible. Yes, in the month of February only, we'll do it. Before March. It should be in February. That should be.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. How are you doing? So this is a book. How is it? Chalo.
अभी मास्टर की बात तो कुछ बोलना रह नहीं गया अभी, and moreover we have only 10 more minutes I think so I'm not again not going back to this. So देखिए whatever points smaller minor points nuances which we would have left out उतना कवर करते हैं अगला 10-15 मिनट में. 10-15 मिनट है ना?
Take 20 minutes, sir.
Yeah. So रीडेवलपमेंट प्रोसीजर्स में सर ने जो भी बताया एंड व्हाट एवर रेरा का implications एंड वेयर वी स्टैंड एज ऑफ टुडे एंड व्हाट आर द डूज एंड डोंट्स, वो सब तो हमने देख लिया. नो एज फार एज कोऑपरेटिव हाउसिंग सोसाइटी इज कंसर्न, वो भी हमने देख लिया कि कितना सोसाइटी के अंदर डिसीजन लेना हो या एग्जीक्यूट करना हो, वेदर इट इज इजी, हाउ फास्ट इट कैन बी डन, हाउ रिस्की इट इज, हु इज गोइंग टू टेक द रिस्पांसिबिलिटी, who is going to be hand in glove, whether he is hand in glove or not. बहुत सारे इसमें nitty-gritties है, but at the end of the day कहीं ना कहीं we have to make the decision कि redevelopment में जाना है and ultimately जाना है. All we know like a city like Mumbai जहाँ पे the atmosphere itself is such that erosion जल्दी होता है and our buildings and other structures degrade very fast. So ultimately कहीं ना कहीं we have to make the decision and most of us are making it. Madam is there here, कोलते पाटिल बताया उन्होंने, तो ये हाईवे पे कोलते पाटिल का बड़ा सा एक बना हुआ है, शायद वहीं पे जाके देखा होगा उन्होंने, ये करेक्ट जय विजय. तो कोलते पाटिल पुणे में अच्छा किया, बहुत किया. जय विजय को ओसी देने में बहुत तकलीफ दिया उसने. आई डोंट थिंक अदर जय विजय हैज रिसीव्ड इट्स ओसी नो. वो चेक कर लीजिए मैडम, वो भी एक चेक करिए आप. सो बिल्डर सिलेक्शन as far as redevelopment is concerned is the most important. आपका डिसीजन, आपका 79 ये प्रोसीजर, आपका जनरल बॉडी मीटिंग, चेयरमैन कौन है, सेक्रेटरी कौन है, वो सब एवरीथिंग विल गो टू द डस्टबिन if the builder is not proper.
Correct.
So the most important thing is selecting the builder and the selecting the right builder. कोई भी ऐरा गैरा नहीं. तो now after the implementation of RERA, और जैसा सर ने भी मेंशन किया, you have got a very good public domain wherein you can go and actually research उसके अंदर की ये particular builder, if you really want to go across and choose a very good builder, RERA will support you in that. RERA website will surely support. maharera.gov.in वाला जो साइट है आपका, उसमें बहुत सिंपल है लॉगिन करना. You log in into that and you can find, कोई भी नाम डालोगे प्रोजेक्ट के नाम या बिल्डर के नाम, प्रोमोटर के नाम से भी वो खुलता है, इजी है. तो आपका अगर कोलते पाटिल देखना है तो कोलते पाटिल के कितने प्रोजेक्ट्स बने हुए हैं. एंड इफ यू एनालाइज, we were actually doing a project along with क्या नाम था उसका, अच्छा बिल्डर था, यहीं पे उनका एयरपोर्ट का यहाँ पे ऑफिस है, कलिना के यहाँ पे ऑफिस है उनका. आई एम नॉट रिमेम्बरिंग हिज नेम नाउ. So they wanted some customer satisfaction, उनका ये चल रहा था, to get a feedback from their customers, what all things we need to do so that लोग रेरा वेबसाइट में हमारा क्या क्या होना चाहिए कि people get attracted towards us. Attraction not just for to fool around, actually उनका जो awareness creation and building that brand building exercise में थे, तो we made use of the रेरा वेबसाइट. और रेरा वेबसाइट में क्या क्या डिक्लेरेशन कौन से हिसाब से देना चाहिए, प्रोजेक्ट if you have declared the project completion date as 2023 and if you are uploading the OC as March 2023, December 2023 is your completion date, but if your OC is obtained in April 23, then उससे ज्यादा क्या चाहिए आपको, that is the best, मतलब you have got it, मतलब वहां पे पहुंच गए आप. So such kind of activities can be done in arriving at a better developer. अभी आप देखिए किस्मत का खेल तो है ही, उसके बाद में आफ्टर ऑल यू डोंट नो वेयर यू लैंड, बट एटलीस्ट हमारे साइड से जो ड्यू डिलिजेंस है उतना तो करना पड़ेगा. इज व्हाट रीडेवलपमेंट इज ऑल अबाउट. इतना ऑल इतने स्लाइड्स वाइड्स देखेंगे, ये सब तो देखिए डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ बिल्डिंग्स है, मैं ऐसी जस्ट आपको रन थ्रू कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज एनीवेज आई थिंक यू आर गोइंग टू गेट दिस पीपीटी, तो आपको मिलेगा ही. इसमें देखिए ज्यादा जो भी बताया उसी का एक स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे में यहाँ पे डिसएडवांटेजेस एडवांटेजेस सब दिया हुआ है. बट बंद है वहां पे। एनीवेज, ठीक है, अच्छा है, मेरे लिए अच्छा है। देखिए वहां पे आप कुछ भी करिए, एडवांटेजेस है, डिसएडवांटेजेस है, और एवरीथिंग हैज द टू साइड्स ऑफ द कॉइन, हर समय होता है। तो एडवांटेजेस रहेंगे, डिसएडवांटेजेस रहेंगे। द ओनली थिंग इज दैट यू हैव टू डिसाइड वेदर द बिल्डिंग स्ट्रक्चर हैज टू गो फॉर रीडेवलप। म्युनिसिपैलिटी भी वही बोलती है। बीच में आपने देखा होगा वो जो यहाँ से जो आता है ना, जो बिल्डिंग गिराने के बाद डेब्रिस जो आता है, उसका भी बीच में सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक चला गया था एंड रोक दिया था उसका। Why all these things are done? Not only because of the environment factor, but because of the fact that whether every building requires redevelopment. मतलब लेफ्ट राइट एंड सेंटर उस समय पे रीडेवलपमेंट शुरू हो गया था 2013 के बाद में, आफ्टर द न्यू रूल्स केम इन, वो बालकनी निश एरिया का वगैरह सब प्लानिंग में चेंजेस हुए थे। उसके बाद में एवरी बिल्डिंग वांटेड टू रीडेवलप, सो द गवर्नमेंट themselves told कि you only redevelop when it is required, don't put stress on the infrastructure. हमारा already our city is bleeding, traffic pollution है, everything is there. If you are going to redevelop, a 30-member society is going to become a 80-member society. So people, not only people who are staying inside the city are going to occupy, there are going to more people coming from outside. So don't bleed the infrastructure. आप सोच समझ के redevelopment करिए. If the building requires redevelopment, go for redevelopment. There are many buildings in South Bombay which can still withhold for another 30-40 years. Construction उतना अच्छा है, जरूरत नहीं है redevelopment का, तो नहीं कर रहा है. And moreover, government is also encouraging cluster redevelopment, wherein 3-4 societies come together. जैसा आपका साउथ बॉम्बे में you have to have a minimum plot area of 4,000 square meter. In suburban Mumbai, you have to have a plot area minimum of 6,000 square meter. So 6,000 square meter में you have a very huge advantage of FSI. It goes up to 4 plus fungible. So वहां पे आप utilize कर सकते हो, और DCPR which has come is also favoring redevelopment, cluster and even normal redevelopment also. But why they have put that road width as the deciding factor is because of the infrastructure. अगर रोड ही छोटा है, गाड़ी अंदर नहीं जा पा रहा, फायर ब्रिगेड नहीं जा पा रहा, all necessary whatever basic requirements are not being able to be, you're not able to attain what you want, फिर high rise building बनाने का मतलब नहीं बनता. So all these things have to be taken care. But the bottom line is select a developer, do the due diligence. जैसा वो MCA site होगा या फिर ROC का site होगा, whatever sites you may be able to visit, RERA is there. So you do a due diligence. आपकी तरफ से, maybe it may be for your society, you may be a consultant for some other society. And हमारे ऑफिस में तो कम से कम रोज 3 से 4 रीडेवलपमेंट के प्रपोजल्स आते हैं फॉर वेटिंग. Not only waiting the builder, but waiting their development agreements or power of attorneys or their PAAs and or their feasibility report, anything and everything.
You went the developers also.
Pardon?
The way, she was asking the
कर सकता है.
feasibility and-
Yes. Due diligence
due
developer
diligence
कर
about
सकता है.
the developer.
Yes. We can do. We have got our own PMC. One-stop project management consultant. We have a company associated. So that does the due diligence also. अगर किसी डेवलपर का करना है, you can also do. देखिए, it's not a rocket science. सब लोग, everybody can do.
I've done it for my society.
Exactly. So ये सब चीजें अपॉर्चुनिटी है. It's a professional opportunity जहाँ पे हम लोग काफी तरीके से, क्योंकि redevelopment is, it's not going to stop now. अभी just begin हुआ है. There are various different categories of redevelopment which is happening. I'm not only talking as per the point of view of gaining knowledge, but also gaining some opportunity, and professionally you can be oriented. बहुत सारे opportunities है, because क्या है, you may be doing your audits and other things, but side by side कहीं ना कहीं time निकाल के आप इस चीज में भी आप time थोड़ा devote कर सकते हो, and it's very interesting if you go into it. I don't know about accounts, बहुत कम जानता हूँ मैं, but मैं नहीं बोल सकता हूँ आपका अच्छा है या बुरा है. मेरे हिसाब से तो अकाउंट्स मुझे आता नहीं, उतना मैं जानता हूँ. बट बाकी सब चीजों में पढ़
कुछ तो हमारे लिए छोड़ दिया आपने.
नहीं, आपने इतना टाइट पकड़ के रखा है कि हम आ नहीं सकते हो. तो देखिए आपने देखा होगा बहुत सारे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स दे आल्सो डू देयर LLB, बट वेरी फ्यू lawyers they get into your field, they are not allowed inside. मुश्किल है घुसना अंदर, मुश्किल है ऑफ कोर्स, मुश्किल
राणी
है
का उल्टा किया थे,
हाँ
राणी ने, HP राणी ने।
हाँ बराबर,
बात चलेगी।
करेक्ट करेक्ट करेक्ट, बट मतलब कमिंग बैक टू द point is that my dad always used to say CA और डॉक्टर जो ये दो प्रोफेशन है, जो पढ़ना बहुत मुश्किल है, प्रैक्टिस करना इजी है. आई डोंट नो वेदर ही वाज राइट और रॉन्ग, बट तुम एडवोकेसी करता, बिकॉज माय डैड वाज आल्सो अ सीनियर एडवोकेट.
सर एक चीज बताना, एकदम सीनियर डॉक्टर को हमने बताया था कि वी आर द ओनली प्रोफेशन कि जो जज को, डॉक्टर को, मिनिस्टर को, सबको, गुंडे को बताता है हमसे कुछ छुपाना नहीं।
बराबर, हम भी वही बोलते हैं सर, हम भी वही बोलता है,
वही करता है,
नहीं नहीं
हमारे सामने नंगा हो जाता
हम नहीं नहीं हम भी वही बोलते हैं, बट प्रॉब्लम ये है ना कि जहां पे पैसा दिखता है ना वहां पे सच्चाई नहीं दिखता है.
है।
तो आपके पास वो बोलेगा क्योंकि उसको बचाना है, हमारे पास उतना सच्चाई नहीं बोलता है वो. So anyways, so coming back to the point, coming back to the subject, सर ने भी वही बताया कि अगर आपको if you have an option of deciding between redevelopment and self redevelopment, the better option is self redevelopment. But again, somebody was asking me initial seed capital funding. अभी क्या है कि हाँ फंडिंग जो आप पूछ रहे थे, देखिए
I was talking about a special that no self.
सेल्फ का ही बता रहा हूँ, सेल्फ का ही बोल रहा हूँ. देख मार्जिन मनी previously it was 15%, now they have increased and now margin money is only 5. 95 is what the cooperative bank is promising. Deliver कितना होगा पता नहीं. Now as far as
डिस्ट्रिक्ट सेंट्रल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स आर फाइन।
हाँ मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ आपको, देखिए दो बैंक्स को दिया है, मुंबई डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोऑपरेटिव इज द मेन बैंक, जो नोडल बैंक है, नोडल ऑफिस उनको बनाया है. दिस बैंक इज नाउ दे हैव एग्रीड, एक्चुअली देयर वाज अ सेल्फ रिडेवलपमेंट, एक सर्कुलर है 2019 का, which states that there are various benefits if societies go for redevelopment, self redevelopment. उसमें बैंक का 4% का सब्सिडी भी था, इंस्टेड ऑफ 12 they will give 8%. मोरेटोरियम था 3 साल का, टिल द टाइम यू कंप्लीट योर redevelopment you are not supposed to pay your EMIs, प्रिंसिपल रीपेमेंट भी नहीं था. Fringe benefits as far as your FSIs, premiums are concerned, lot of benefits were on paper, it was given, but nothing is still not implemented. एक भी उसमें implement, दो चार चीज छोटे मोटे हुए हैं, but the main point of how much money will the bank give, whether they are really giving money, they have given money, small ticket दिया है 5 करोड़ 10 करोड़ तक दिया है उन्होंने कुछ 8-10 प्रोजेक्ट अभी तक बॉम्बे में सेल्फ रिडेवलपमेंट के फंड किए हैं, मतलब ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए ना कि कुछ किया ही नहीं, तो है किया है, दिखता है
क्या होना
किया है उन्होंने. तो सोसाइटी को
50 करोड़ तो
नहीं, सोसाइटी को सर नहीं, सोसाइटी को उतना ही चाहिए था, इसके लिए दिया.
हाँ वही छोटा
मैंने दिया तो 95% इज व्हाट, नहीं बीच में स्टॉप किया था बिकॉज ऑफ RBI रेस्ट्रिक्शन, और ना वापस शुरू कर दिया, 1 साल हो गया. हाँ नाउ दे आर टोल्ड दैट इट इज अ कमर्शियल ट्रांजैक्शन, सो कोऑपरेटिव बैंक कैन नॉट fund for a commercial transaction, your objective is not to go towards commercial activity, इसके लिए स्टॉप किया था. बट दे somehow told that नहीं हम एक ही बिरादरी के हैं, कोऑपरेटिव और कोऑपरेटिव हेल्प नहीं करेगा तो और किसको कौन क्या हेल्प करेगा. तो दे हैव सम कुछ ट्विक किया उन्होंने अंदर RBI एक्ट के अंदर या बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन में, some they have found out some particular provision through which they have again come back. अभी it is possible. We are also actually hand in hand. Sir is also he has not mentioned that today. He is also the secretary of the Mumbai Suburban Federation, Housing Federation. हमारा तो एसोसिएशन है महासेवा, एक हाउसिंग फेडरेशन है गवर्नमेंट, क्वासी गवर्नमेंट, उसमें ही इज द सेक्रेटरी. सो उसके थ्रू वी आर ऑल्सो इन वेरी क्लोजली वर्किंग विद द मुंबई बैंक फॉर फंडिंग. तो टाइम लगेगा थोड़ा, बट इट मे हैपन. It will happen, but self-redevelopment is not always taking loan from the bank. Self-redevelopment can also be self-financed. There are many societies, Ghatkopar side में है, predominantly वहाँ पे बहुत सारा societies है, जहाँ पे 12 member, 16 member societies have self-redeveloped. क्या किया उन्होंने? मेरा एक फ्लैट है, मैं ही दूसरा फ्लैट खरीदता हूँ, मैं ही खरीद रहा हूँ. I am again 16 has become 32, but it has not been sold to anybody. They are themselves redeveloped, making use of the FSA. 40-50 लाख रुपए डाल के 2 करोड़ का घर खड़ा किया उन्होंने. This is self-redevelopment. We are looking at the angle of always getting money from the bank. पैसा नहीं है and redevelop our society. ऐसा नहीं. हमारे पास अगर पैसा है तो हम डाल सकते हैं. No private financial institution or bank is going to fund you because collateral कुछ नहीं है हमारे पास. Society का land they don't take us collateral because वो किसी का नहीं है, society का. So recovery becomes easy in kind of when there is a default. So that is not going to happen. तो अगर आपको self redevelopment में जाना है, ये बड़ा challenge है क्योंकि ultimately everything boils down to money. पैसा है, फाइनेंस है तो आगे बढ़ेगा, नहीं है तो नहीं बढ़ेगा. तो आपसे ज्यादा बेटर कौन जानता. तो इसके लिए you have to have that kind of person, people who can manage that money. You can have that kind of capital which can be built, and if capital can be built, 100% आपका जो what not only the area but आपका 2 साल में खत्म होने का आपका जो कॉर्पस कितना बढ़ेगा, everything will get minimum double in self redevelopment. minimum, maximum तो वो potential land के ऊपर है, but किधर भी randomly आप देखोगे आपका जो project से जो output आने वाला है, it's going to double. If your area has been now offered as 25%, it will become 50. If your corpus is 1,000 rupees, it will become 2,000. होता है, practically होता है. But for that, your pockets should be very deep. अगर है आपके पास खुद करने के लिए, तो self development is the. बहुत सारे लोग नहीं कर पाते हैं, इसके वजह से we have to again go back to the developer. और अपने पास option नहीं है. So that's why we are trying to find out some. सर ने जैसा बोला वो जो redevelopment के लिए नया act, नया authority, whether RERA can take up this. हमने RERA से भी काफी इसमें चर्चा हो रहा है हमारा. अभी मोफा शायद रिपील होने की बात चल रही है, तो मोफा अगर रिपील हो जाता है तो that particular act will come into force, and if that act comes into force, probably redevelopment में एक impetus मिलेगा, so that regulatory authority आज के दिन में कोई नहीं है. ये ऐसी क्योंकि registrars does not have the jurisdiction to entertain complaints regarding redevelopment. They cannot come here. Cooperative courts जाते हो तो वो भी limited scope में काम करता है. Cooperative court only related to the development agreement member और society के बीच का disputes. They will not come into the builder वाला dispute में उन लोग ज्यादा नहीं आएंगे. It is a civil court, which is civil court matters run for years. So this particular act, if it comes, enact force होना चाहिए. If it is enacted, then probably we may have some different. उसका जो आज का दिन में जो चल रहा है, that may change the entire. It may go to some other tangent. So then we can probably say, but जब तक जो है हाथ में, we have to work. There are professionals like you who have to contribute towards guiding people, and we are doing whatever is possible from our side as an association. हम लोग लोगों को रोज जो आता है, there are very dissenting members also who come, but we generally क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग कि आप 2%, 5% इधर उधर प्लस माइनस हो रहा है, उसके लिए आप डिसेंट मत करो. आपका बिल्डर अच्छा है, लोग सब कंसेंट दिए हुए हैं, 90% के ऊपर सब लोग मान रहे हैं, एंड आपको पता है कि इसका बैकग्राउंड अच्छा है बिल्डर का, तो बढ़िया. डोंट उसका मुझे कॉर्पस में 200 रुपया कम मिला, 1200 मिलना चाहिए था, 1000 ही दिया. These are not very minor issues. Ultimately we have to see at the larger picture. So if this is with this positive note, I think I'll not take much time. वो मेन बातें तो सर ने बता दिया है. So I thank you once again everyone for the opportunity, and sorry that I could not run the. So definitely आप लोग हाँ वो अच्छा वो बंद ही हो गया, वो उसको भी पता है. और मैं बहुत सारे जगह पे पीसी भी खराब भी कर देता हूँ कभी कभी वो दिखता नहीं है. Anyways, so thank you once again, and let's hope we again meet sometime with some other topic and some other discussion.
Sure.
And I hope that I was able to deliver what was expected out of me.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and have a nice evening.
So just to add on, definitely we are going to share all these PPTs with all the participants. So they can refer this PPT at their leisure time. And the parts, sir, he is allowed to say on this redevelopment and self-development, but the way the Ramesh Prabhu sir he entered and he discussed the other practical aspect. So definitely we'll again try and meet and to just so that he can continue whatever it is remain. And it was very live and interactive discussion, definitely on the
Thank you.
redevelopment and self-development. And you answered that one important question raised by our Amasa about the financing, right? Because
Funding.
it's only when we opt for the self-development, finance is the only issue where definitely the society is stuck because of the finance. And you answered, you covered that question also. So thank you very much, sir, for your
Thank you.
sharing your valuable knowledge.
Thank you.
So with this, as we conclude today's session, thank you all the members.
Thank you. Thanks.
So when 90%, more than 90% people have given the consent for the redevelopment, but financially builders have not found.